Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for another stream. This is the transfer tips video for Double Game Week 37. So, as always, transfer tips video on the Tuesday. How you doing, Jordan? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. We're almost at the end of the season. I can't believe it. We've only got one more game week after 37, and that's it. And yeah, it's going to be emotional when obviously the season ends, but we still carry on. Obviously, it's a transfer tips game week 37, and yeah, we'll crack on.
Yeah, looking forward to discussing transfer tips. Obviously, buy, sell, hold, ignore. Let's not waste any time. Let's bring up the first players that we recommend you buy. And as you guys see from the thumbnail as well, first one up as a buy is actually Bruno Fernandes. Now, we'll put Bruno Fernandes on this list. You take a look, his 34 appearances so far, so he's pretty much played every game, bar one, I think. He has a double game week coming up, which was why Bruno Fernandes has actually been included. We know Man City have a double, Man United have a double, Brighton have a double, and Chelsea have a double. So those are the four teams I think we'd like to target going into the final few weeks. But Bruno's been put on this list, 6 goals, 8 assists. So not too bad of a return. His underlying numbers, expected assists per 90, it ain't too bad. He does have some decent fixtures left. Bournemouth away. We know Man United's away form hasn't been great, but Man United need to win 2 out of the next 3 games to obviously confirm top 4. So Man United have something to play for, and Bournemouth and Chelsea is a double game week. So I think there could be some upside with Bruno, bringing him into your team. He's priced at 9.5 million, so he's quite expensive. His ownership is expected to rise as well. Obviously, I've been watching a bit of Man United in recent weeks. Bruno is still involved. Obviously, we know he's on penalties and set pieces, but yeah, he hasn't actually got many returns. I mean, I think he got an assist in the last game, but apart from that, he's been quite quiet. But he does have a double coming up, which is why I think we're including him. A lot of people's route, I have to think about, do I want Bruno now? Because initially I was thinking about taking Salah out, but after yesterday, I don't think I want to take Salah out. So I'll have to decide another way to probably bring Bruno in. But yeah, regardless, I think if you have the money and you have the option to go to Bruno, I think I'd probably do it just because of the double, and then Fulham at home as well in the final game week. So yeah, what's your thoughts on Bruno, Jordan? Is that someone you're looking at bringing in?
Yeah, he kind of fits well if you're looking to get rid of Rashford, depending on what his team is, obviously, from Ten Hag, but it doesn't look good so far. But let's say Rashford is out. I mean, it's a good swap if you have the money to bring in Fernandes, who has a double and is a Man United asset, other than maybe Luke Shaw that most of us do have in defence. We probably want an attacking type of player like Fernandes, as he is on penalties as well. He's on set pieces, free kicks, etc. So there's a lot of opportunities where Fernandes could potentially get a return and equalise on his 6 goals he already has this season, or maybe equalise on his 8 assists he has this season. And with the double as well, with Bournemouth away and Chelsea at home, 2 teams which have struggled through the season as well. This gives Man United a lot of opportunity, especially for their top 4. They need to win 2 games out of those 3, as we've mentioned, to obviously secure that. And yeah, it's a lot to play for, and I think Fernandes can have a good double if you haven't got him already in 37.
Yeah, I expect Man United to win at least 2 of those next 3. However, one thing I will say is Man United don't score many goals at all, if I'm being honest. I think they're the 8th highest scorers in the league, behind the likes of Brighton. I think even there's a few teams. So that's the only worry I have about going heavy on Man United. They don't score many goals, so if they do score 1 or 2 a game, that's the way I see it. I don't think they're great, if I'm being honest. So in terms of if you're expecting a big returner from them, I'm not sure, but you got to play the upside. They have a double game week when many teams don't. So yeah, Bruno for us is still a buy because of that double. Moving on to actually, we'll talk about this comment actually from Lucata. 70 points behind. Take a hit to get Bruno and triple captain for the differential. I think Bruno could be worth the hit, because he has the 2 fixtures. If you still got triple captain left, I mean, if you are chasing a lot, and you need to go very different, it could pay off. But however, I probably wouldn't go there. I just don't see Man United scoring that many goals. I only see them winning by the odd goal every now and then. So I don't see them as a high scoring team. So if I just bring up the stats here, um, I'm actually looking at goals in term. Man United actually have the ninth most goals scored in the league. They are behind the likes of Fulham, Brentford, Newcastle, Spurs, Brighton, Liverpool, Arsenal. All these teams have scored more than Man United. And I think with Rashford being injured, with their main threat of goals, I do worry about that a bit. However, let's move on to another buy, and he is actually another Manchester United player on the next buy because again, Man United have a double game week, so we thought we'd include another one. We could have included a Man City player, however, there is a bit of rotation. We expect Luke Shaw to play 90 minutes in all these games coming up, and that's why we've put him as a pick. So I have Luke Shaw already in my team. I've had him for a while now. I think Luke Shaw could be a good buy, especially when you look at the fixtures. Again, it's a double. Bournemouth and Chelsea. Can Man United keep a clean sheet? I think they could at least keep one, possibly even against Chelsea, because Chelsea do struggle as well to score goals. Luke Shaw does have one goal, two assists. He has been playing at centre back as well in recent weeks, so I don't know how much that would affect his attacking threat, but I still think Luke Shaw is a decent buy for this week, just purely for the double. He's cheap. He's quite highly owned as well, so a lot of people do actually have Luke Shaw anyway. If you are looking for a Man United defender, I think Luke Shaw is probably the best one to bring in. Would you agree, Jordan?
Yeah, I think with Luke Shaw, he comes off of an 8-pointer. I mean, this is why Luke Shaw becomes more valuable to bring in, because whenever Man United keep a clean sheet and it's a low-scoring game, which most games are for Man United, Luke Shaw does get bonus points most of the time, like he did against Wolves when Man United won 2-0. Luke Shaw still got the bonus free from that game. Even with the yellow card, he still got rewarded bonus points, which was a very nice, obviously, return for those who do have Luke Shaw. But if you're looking to bring him in, he is a player defensively who has a double, is very appealing, especially when there's not many doubles left. And with Bournemouth away and Chelsea at home, I could actually see 2 clean sheets if I'm pushing my luck.
I wouldn't be pushing it that far.
Because it is, well, at least with Chelsea, they don't really score many goals, but they have proven that that's not the case. But with Bournemouth away, it's one or the other with them. I mean, like the away fixtures are not the greatest, but yeah, Luke Shaw, I think, is definitely a nice buy to look forward to in Double Gameweek 37, especially for defenders where there may be not much choice after, obviously, Game Week 36.
Okay, yeah, so Luke Shaw is a buy for us as well. Let's move on to some players that we think you could be looking to sell ahead of Game Week 37. And again, it's another Man United player. I feel like it is a big talking point, Rashford, because we know he missed the last game against Wolves due to injury. It looks like he could miss another game against Bournemouth on Saturday. It is Saturday, isn't it, they play? So if that is the case, obviously we are waiting for Ten Hag's press conference. If he gives out any information that Rashford is going to miss the game and he's injured, then 100% you sell him, I think. If we hear any news Rashford is fit and he should play, then obviously keep him because, he's got a double. He's pretty cheap. I know he hasn't been scoring in recent weeks. However, I will still keep him. He has got 16 goals and 5 assists so far in 33 appearances. And yeah, look, Man United have to win these games. There's no let up for them, and they've got 2 home fixtures, so you expect them to get the goals. And Rashford is a big, obviously a big part of that. And yeah, but for now he's a sell due to the current injury situation. I don't know. Has there been any news on Rashford? Is he going to be fit? He looks like he probably won't be.
No, so far there hasn't been much solid concrete news from anywhere really about Rashford's situation, but I guess nearer the time we'll find out eventually. But let's say the scenario where Rashford isn't going to play in both doubles, and obviously he becomes the most attractable sell you could go for. And that kind of ties with bringing obviously Fernandes in as we put him as a buy. I think for this situation, if Rashford is a sell, then obviously you'll buy Fernandes or another Man United asset that you think will obviously do well in the double game at 37.
Moving on to another sell, and actually that is Solly March. Now, as you guys know, I sold Solly March for a hit last game week in Double Game Week 36. Some people have still got Solly March in their team. I think he's an easy sell because he's also similar to Rashford, but his injury is a bit more serious. He's definitely going to miss, I think, both the games in the Double Game Week. So if you've got him, not really much to discuss here. He's not going to play in the double, so he's an easy sell. Obviously, he's had a decent season for Brighton so far, but March is a sell. I think we both agree on that. So we're going to quickly move on to some players that we think you should be looking to hold ahead of Double Game Week 37. And first one up on the list is actually Trippier. He's actually been transferred out by quite a lot of managers, and we thought we'd put Trippier as a whole. I don't know if you agree with this one, Jordan. Would you hold him as well? But I thought we'd be a bit different and say hold because as I've seen him being removed by a few managers. Newcastle are also in a situation where obviously they have to win 2 of their last 3 games to secure top 4. They do play on Thursday night against Brighton, which is a massive game for them for the top 4 to get in there. And obviously, judging by how that game goes, these 2 games could be crucial. So if Newcastle don't win on Thursday against Brighton, then these 2 games become massive and will become must-wins for them. And I actually think Newcastle are more likely to drop out than Man United if the worst was to happen. But Leicester, I saw yesterday, they aren't playing really. They're not playing great. They are very low on confidence. They're very fragile. When the first 1 or 2 goals go in, they do struggle. Chelsea could be a bit of a banana skin. I know Chelsea have been poor this season, but you don't want to really go final day at Stamford Bridge. But I think Trippier's still a hold. I know he hasn't been returning in recent weeks. He's been quite frustrating. You know, at the start of the game week, from like game week 1 to game week 17, he was getting double-digit hauls every week, it seems. But since I say post-World Cup, it's not happening for Trippier. He's not getting the massive returns. Obviously, Newcastle aren't keeping many clean sheets as they were at the start. So, but look, Leicester and Chelsea. Can you see any clean sheets here, Jordan? Because I actually can't see many. Even though Leicester, I think Leicester can score against them, and even Chelsea, how poor they are, I don't see many clean sheets. But the worry is obviously 65% ownership. Can he, if he gets bonus points and an assist, it could hurt the rank. But yeah, is he a hold for you anyway?
Yeah, I think now we're late, very late in the season now, near the end. I think you might as well hold on to Trippier till the end of the season because, as we've pointed out, the ownership, even though it's dropped a little bit, is still considerably high at 65.7. So pretty much everyone, or more or less everyone, has Trippier still. So if we take Trippier out now, and he somehow gets maybe not a clean sheet, but let's say an assist against Leicester at home, then that's obviously going to hurt the rank because maybe that leads to Trippier getting a bonus points as well on top of that. So the more and more points Trippier gets without his ownership, without owning him, therefore will have a massive impact on the rank. So I guess if you want to play it safe, because the last time Trippier got a clean sheet was in game week 29 when Newcastle won 2-0 against Man United, and he got a 12-pointer in that one where he got the assist and the bonus 3 in the clean sheet. I don't see a clean sheet in this, but there is that threat from Trippier, obviously from set pieces. So it is what it is with holding Trippier, or you get rid of him. But I think holding him is the best thing, I think, now.
Yeah, it depends as well if you're chasing. If you are chasing and you want to catch up, you could go different. But yeah, let's move on to another hold for this game week. And obviously we made the slides on Monday, and we made the slides before Liverpool's game against Leicester. So we didn't realize, obviously, we didn't know what Salah did against Leicester. So, and people were transferring Salah out, assuming to Bruno Fernandes, who has the double. However, I've said it many a time, Salah is the GOAT of FPL. It has 6 seasons in a row now where he consistently gets returns. I know Haaland right now is obviously doing amazing things, but Salah has been doing it for 6 seasons in a row now. I think that's 200 plus points every single year. And he slowly crept up now to 19 goals and 10 assists. He did get 3 assists last game, obviously last night against Leicester. I think one of the assists was a bit lucky, obviously, because of the Trent free kick. You know, that's not really an assist, but he did put a lovely ball in for Curtis Jones to score that second goal, I think. And yeah, I wouldn't be selling Salah, I don't think, because as a Salah owner myself, he's got Aston Villa at home next. For those that didn't watch the game against Leicester last night, obviously he picked up 3 assists. However, he did miss a sitter, an absolute sitter, one on one with the goalie, and he put it wide under no pressure really. So he should have scored last night. And I think against Aston Villa at home, Liverpool have just won 7 games in a row and 3 clean sheets on the bounce. So they are now on form. I think they are the form team along with Man City in the league. So I wouldn't be selling Salah personally, especially with a home fixture coming up. I know it's not a double, but I still think keep Salah. And yeah, even in game week 38, Southampton are officially confirmed to be relegated. So they've not got much to play for. We know Liverpool have a very, very small chance of still managing top four. So Liverpool still need to win the last 2 games. And I think Salah, the way Liverpool are playing right now, I think Liverpool will win their next 2 games and will make it 9 in a row. So I'm not selling Salah personally as an owner. I'll have to find out probably another way to get Bruno in or maybe go without Bruno. What's your thoughts on it, Jordan? Obviously, you're a non-Salah owner, but if you had him, it's probably a hold. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it would be hard to get rid of Salah after he got 3 assists in the last game that Liverpool did have. And he has been returning Salah on a sort of a regular basis too. And he is, even though he's expensive at 13.1, I think you might as well hold on to him because the fixtures are nice as well for Liverpool. And now that Liverpool are closing on that gap between the top four, between either Newcastle or Man United, this brings Liverpool obviously more into playing for that top four now. So there's even more reason to hold Salah now, just to see if Liverpool can push for that 4th place. So yeah, I think holding him, I would say, is probably the best thing if you do own Salah. But obviously, I wouldn't bring him in now, as it's probably too late to, as he's already got the points beforehand. Yeah. So yeah, I think Salah's definitely a hold.
Yeah, okay, so that's the holds out the way. Let's move on to some ignores. And these are players that managers are bringing in that we think, you could hold off on potentially. So we've put Odegaard on this list. Now, Odegaard does actually have a decent fixture on paper, especially the last 2. Nottingham Forest away in 37, and then in game week 38, he has Wolves. So they are 2 nice fixtures. Odegaard has actually had a very good season. He's been one of the best players so far this season in the Premier League when you look at it overall. He does have 15 goals, 7 assists, so very nice numbers. He's quite highly owned still, to be fair, 30% plus 6.8 million as well, so he's quite cheap. However, the reason why he's an ignore currently is because I'd rather probably prioritize bringing in players with doubles like Bruno, like even a Man City midfielder, Mahrez, Foden, whoever we get news about starting. I'd probably rather bring them in. And it's going to be hard to fit Odegaard in. If you have him, you definitely don't sell him, I don't think. But I don't think I'd be transferring him maybe in right now. Maybe that's because of the team structure. He is dependent. But I still can see, I wouldn't be surprised if he does score against Forest. But it's in terms of getting doublers in, that's where we've decided to put Odegaard on this list. But yeah, what's your thoughts on it, Jordan? Obviously, Arsenal did lose 3-0 to Brighton, which obviously a lot of us did think that would be a tough game for them. But obviously they should probably bounce back. But yeah, for us it's an ignore right now. But if you have him, you can still keep him for sure.
Yeah, I think if you have him, you might as well keep Odegaard now, especially even though Arsenal have lost considerably a lot. Especially that Brighton one did hurt a lot because obviously emotions did flood in after full time there, as they know that was not the match for them to lose. And obviously, if Man City win their next match, then they win the title officially. But Arsenal will crack on, I say, and probably win the last 2, as there is maybe like a glimmer of hope still, as it isn't officially confirmed that the title's over to Man City. But I do expect Odegaard to still perform his best. I mean, he does pick the team up, as he did at the end of that game in Brighton. He did pick the team up, and obviously there is some spirit left in Odegaard, and obviously Nottingham Forest and Wolves at home. They're 2 good fixtures for, as we've spoken about, them bouncing back in. So Yeah, I think Odegaard can have a strong finish to the end of the season.
Yeah, moving on to the final ignore, and that is actually Garnacho. Now Garnacho actually did score. He came off the bench and got a late goal against Wolves to seal the win for 2-0 for Man United. He does have 3 goals and 2 assists so far this season, of 12 times coming off the bench. However, I think he's ignored due to minutes. He's a big minutes risk. I doubt he'll start both games. You never know. He could possibly start one. But I just feel like Ten Hag won't start him. So that's why he's an ignore. If he was going to start both, and I knew that, he could be a very nice differential at 4.1 million. Very cheap. Ownership is very low as well, under 1%. However, I will be very shocked if he starts both. That's not to say I don't think he should, because if I was a manager, I'd probably play Garnacho ahead of Sancho and Anthony. I think he's better than both of those players. So yeah, I mean, but he's a young kid, so it's a lot of pressure, and I just don't see Man United putting him in for both starts. But he could be a nice differential if you want to take a risk. But yeah, for us, he's ignored just because of minutes. What's your take on it, Garnacho? And to round it up, I mean, what Man United asset would you go for if you can't afford Bruno?
Yeah, with Garnacho, I think it's a shame because if Man United, I think, were safe and were secure in top four, I think Garnacho becomes more of an asset because Man United from that point on can relax. But because there's still contention for the top four, it does push out Garnacho's minutes, obviously, because Ten Hag will want to put out the strongest team possible to secure these next fixture wins that Man United do need. So it's a bit of a shame for that reasoning. And if you are to target Man United assets other than obviously Garnacho, and if it's too expensive for Bruno, then you could opt for like an Anthony or maybe a Martial, because he also did score as well in that Man United game against Wolves. But it is a long shot, obviously, because as we spoke about, Man United don't score many goals, and they can come from anyone pretty much now. Now that Rashford potentially may not play in that double either, so it is going to be a mixed bag of who is the goal scorers for Man United now. But yeah, that's pretty much why Garnacho is an ignore. I think because Man United have important games to win, and obviously Garnacho is a young player who hasn't played many matches really through the season. I think he'll be overlooked, I think, by other players like Martial and Anthony, etc.
Okay, let's quickly recap then the players that we've selected for the transfer tips for Double Game Week 37. You should buy Bruno Fernandes and Luke Shaw. You should sell Rashford and Solly March. You should hold on to Trippier and Mo Salah. And you should ignore Odegaard and Garnacho. So those are the 8 players, guys. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know. Also, if you have enjoyed the content, if you are watching it back on a playback, make sure you do smash the like button as always, and make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel as well. Take a comment here from Harry Davies. Welcome to the channel. Should I bring in an obvious player like Mitoma, or shall I be different? I'm 11 points clear at the top in my mini league, so I might play it safe. If you're 11 points clear, then you could just play it safe and have Mitoma. And you know you'll probably win unless something crazy happens in the final 2 game weeks. But yeah, I probably would like to have Mitoma in my team. In terms of Brighton, Jordan, who do you think are the best triple Brighton now? If you had to pick, who would you think?
If I had to pick, I'd probably say Estupinian, McAllister, and it's hard to pick the last one. It's, I would say Mitoma by obviously cliche, but I would want to say another player. Maybe Ferguson or Undav.
Yeah, they're more differential.
Yeah, they are a bit differential. But if I had to pick, I'll just put Mitoma, McAllister, and Estupinian, I think.
Yeah, that's the 3 I've got. I mean, Enciso did score against Arsenal, I think, as well, didn't he? He did score in against Arsenal, so he could be like a differential. Buonanetto, I think how you say his name, Buonetto. He's playing games now, especially with Solly March being injured, so he could be decent. But I'll probably just have Mitoma, if I'm being honest. Also, guys, if you have any comments regarding your team or your transfers, etc., let us know in the comments. as well, and we'll try our best to answer any more. Or otherwise, we'll probably wrap the stream up. Obviously, we're back again Thursday for the team selection video, as always, 7 p.m. UK time. Make sure you guys do subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any content. And Saturday is the deadline stream, as always. I think it's at 11 a.m. deadline again. And yeah, the season is coming to a close. So, we're gonna have a nice summer break. Obviously, the football's over soon. There's still quite a bit to play for. We will actually talk about our teams, obviously, because game week isn't over yet. Game week 36. It's still obviously Liverpool played last night, and then Brighton and Newcastle in that big game on Thursday. So do stay tuned, guys, for Thursday, and then obviously deadline on Saturday. But that's it from us. We hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it as always. Like, comment, and subscribe. Anything else you'd like to add, Jordan, before we do head out?
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Obviously, we'll see you in the team selection for game week 37. But yeah, take care. Enjoy the rest of your week.